Like, imagine someone in the club just coming up to you in one of these and like trying to flirt with you, like. Yeah, no. Hey guys, it's Gaia, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. Quite a lot of you guys have been asking me recently about what to expect for university this year. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what changes you will probably see if you start university this year. So for you watching my video right now, how are you feeling? Are you worried about all the changes that are happening in university? Are you excited still? Let me know. Also, let me know what course you're studying. It'd be amazing to see if we could find other people on this channel that are studying the same thing as you. In this video, I'm going to be discussing both academic and social changes to your university experience. If you do find this video helpful, please give it a massive thumbs up. And if you'd like more university advice and want to join the cute YouTube family we have going on here, feel free to click that subscribe button. I'd be more than happy to have you. So since there's a lot of crazy new changes to discuss, without further ado, let's get on with today's video. So for the first part, I'm going to be talking about all the changes that are going to be happening to your lectures, campus, and any other aspects of your academic life. So your university is most likely going to introduce what's called a flexible approach to learning, which is basically a mix between online and face-to-face in-person learning. Chances are all of your lectures will now be online, which basically means that your lecturers are going to be uploading pre-recorded lectures for you to watch whenever you want to. You might find seminars and small tutor groups will also be online in the form of Microsoft Teams or Zoom meetings, so you can still talk to your peers face to face. If possible though, I do know that some universities are going to try to keep the seminars and tutorials face to face where possible, but class sizes will be smaller and all of you guys will obviously be sat socially distanced apart. When my university closed in second year, all of our lectures were put online and we were also put into Microsoft Teams for our seminars. Apart from the Microsoft meetings, this wasn't like a massive change to my university experience because Nottingham Trent already upload all past lectures onto our Now Learning page in a shared area called Lecture Capture, so it wasn't like a massive jump once university closed. In addition, not only now will all of your academic life be online, you will now probably also be restricted from going into certain buildings due to lack of space. If they are able to social distance in your university buildings, chances are you students will have to use the one-way system around the building and campus. I'm sure all of you guys have already come in contact with these, but there will be coloured tape, there will be stickers everywhere just guiding you where to go. From what I've heard, like schools, universities will also most likely ask you to wear a mask if you are on campus. Also, from what I've heard, like what they're doing in schools at the moment, universities will also be asking you to wear a mask when you're walking around campus. There will also be regular hand sanitizer points for you to use when you enter a building, and obviously, as you guys can expect, tables will be socially distanced as well. So the next area of change we're going to talk about is flatmates and social bubbles. Again, like schools, it looks like universities are going to start introducing social bubbles wherever they can. This will include flatmates and course mates. This means you should probably stick to socialising with these specific people so we can all contain the virus. However, as you can guess, this is probably going to prove to have a few problems. You and others like yourself are going to want to move around social bubbles and not be limited to who you're talking to, which is fair enough. I mean, I'd be the same, because you either have friends in different social bubbles or you don't like those people that are assigned to your social bubble. I know this would have been the case for me if these changes had been put in place over the last 2 years, especially if my flatmates were in my social bubble, because we didn't always see eye to eye. You might also find the accommodation wardens and the security teams at your accommodation halls are going to be much stricter in allowing certain people into certain accommodation blocks to minimise the risk of COVID. Also, another piece of advice I give you, this isn't so much of like a change, but this is something that you probably should start implementing once you get to university. You need to make sure that your communal spaces are kept clean and tidy, even more so now because we have a global pandemic. This can be really hard though, since no doubt you'll most likely come across messy flatmates. I did. So before you get here, make sure you are stocked up on antibacterial wipes, cleaning sprays, all that Dettol stuff, and even a bit of hand gel. I would also advise talking to your flatmates when you get there so you all can mutually agree to keep the area clean, because if not, having a messy flat is just one more thing to worry about when you're at university, and I'm sure you guys are going to be wanting to have as much fun as you can while you're there. If you're unable to do this because either your flatmates just don't want to listen and are just really messy or for some other reason, then make sure your room is at least really clean. Wipe down those areas, especially tabletops and bathrooms, especially door handles as well, anywhere that a lot of people are touching. So even if your flatmates aren't the cleanest in the world, you're still making sure that you are safe. So the next area we're going to move on to is sex at university. Yeah, again, I don't really want to sound like one of those PSHE teachers or parents giving you the birds and the bees talk, but we are going to have to talk about this because at the end of the day, students are going to sleep with other students. Sex is like a massive thing in university culture. It's just bound to happen. Over the last few months, the government have been releasing different sexual health guidelines to stick to because of corona. And they said apparently you can reduce your risk of catching or passing on COVID-19 by sticking with a regular partner or limiting the number of sexual partners. Not kissing, wearing a face mask during sex, and favouring positions where you're not face to face may also help, and using condoms or dams for blowjobs and rimming will further reduce the risk. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think you're going to find that many freshers wearing face masks during sex. How can you have sex and not kiss someone? Yeah. I don't really know how practical it is as well, but those are the government guidelines. Despite the pandemic though, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be sleeping around regardless. I'm sure also a lot of people will also be put off sleeping around, even more so during freshers because of the pandemic now. And that is understandable too. I mean, who really wants a stranger that you just met just breathing on your face? Like, oh. No thank you. Even though we should be following government guidelines because, I mean, obviously they're there for a reason, I'm not going to be the person that's going to tell you that you should or shouldn't have sex at university. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that you are comfortable and don't let anyone coerce you into doing anything just because it's cool and everyone seems to be doing it. Even though I started first year with a boyfriend, I ended up breaking up with that said boyfriend and was single for the first part of second year. And trust me when I say you do get that sense that you should be sleeping around with people when you're at university because you're single and you're supposed to just enjoy this wild university time in your life. But bottom line is, if you don't want to, don't. But if you do, take precautions. Be smart. You don't want to end up with some nasty STD or worse, COVID. Moving on from sex and STDs and all that nasty stuff, we're going to go on to another nasty topic, which is the common germs that you'll probably come into contact with while at university. At university this year, you're not only going to be dealing with the usual freshers flu, all those cheeky meningitis and mumps outbreaks, you're also going to be dealing with the risk of COVID-19. I know people who have had freshers flu in the past, and let me tell you, the symptoms are very similar to the ones of COVID-19. I'm talking coughs, lack of taste, migraines, fever, the list goes on. So to ensure you don't get freshers flu or worse, COVID-19, you need to stay on top of your health and make sure that your immune system is strong at all times. This is vital, especially in the first few weeks of university where thousands of students mix for the first time. Yes, you will most likely have lectures completely online, but at the end of the day, you will be coming in contact with people, whether that's flatmates, face-to-face tutor groups, or that random person you just see at Tesco. If you've seen my What Essentials to Buy for University video, I mentioned I didn't get freshers flu properly in my first and second year of university, and that is because I invested in some vitamin C and multivitamin supplements, which are honestly a lifesaver. You can dissolve them in water, and they're so good at making sure you are strong during those horrible winter months. If you do think you're ill or even worse have COVID, make sure to see your registered GP, whether that's your university one or one from back home if you live locally. If you can't go to your GP, try a 24-hour walk-in centre. Your city will have several, trust me. At your last resort, and when I say last resort I mean it, at your last resort try a hospital, but only because it's serious or life-threatening, because there is quite a high risk of COVID-19 at hospitals. Bottom line is though, the second you think you're ill, you need to do something about it, which leads me on to my next point. Student doctors. Not only will there be social distancing changes in your university, but there also will be in your university's doctor's clinic. This means only a certain amount of students will be allowed into the clinic at one given moment, and most likely you will be directed to a socially distanced seat. You will also be asked to wear a mask when you're in there and have your temperature taken. Because of these changes, this means there'll be less chances to see your doctor, which will then lead to longer waiting lists. University doctors are notorious for having ridiculously long waiting lists to see a professional, and that is the last thing you need when you have something like COVID. Therefore, as soon as you realise you're ill and it's something that you probably need to get checked out, immediately go do something about it, because now that we're in a pandemic, there aren't as many available booking slots anymore. In the past, you probably could have left it a week and then seen how you feel and then booked a doctor, but now you can't. So don't risk it. Go get checked out right away. And moving on to the last change that you will see to your university experience, we are talking nightlife. And yes, this is probably the most heartbreaking one. As you all know, most nightclubs have not been allowed to reopen, and the ones that have aren't the same as you'd expect from previous years. These clubs are basically running sit-down music sessions, so even though you won't get the old club experience, you can still have a drink with mates and have a good time while remaining safe. I expect these club sessions to be selling out instantly, because the allowed capacity of the club is going to be so much smaller due to obviously social distancing guidelines. So chances are you probably won't be able to go on as many club nights as you originally planned. Once upon a time, you'd be able to just squish into a club, whereas now it's all book online, first come, first serve, which is a real shame. And I know for me, it is not something I'm really looking forward to when I'm finishing my third year. I want to be able to have one last year of just partying and just living my best life. So I completely feel for all of you first years that have freshers completely changed now because of Corona. Fear not though, your university will be putting on loads of awesome fresher events that will be both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, so you still get your university experience. So there you have it. Those are some changes you should expect when coming to university this year. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful for you. Hopefully if you've had any worries about what to expect at university, this video has now answered all of your questions. If it did, please give this video a massive thumbs up and subscribe so I know my advice is helping. Thank you guys for watching so much. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!